Okay.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Joy Clicks. My name is Christian and we are a day away from the kickoff of E3 weekend with EA Play. And over here on Joy Clicks, if you've been paying attention, over the past few days, weeks, I've been covering the previews we can expect to see from each conference, aside from EA, aside from Xbox, because I'm not experts with either of them. But next up on the list is the Sony PlayStation press conference happening Monday night. It is one of the most hyped conferences every year, ever since that legendary conference in 2015. And we have surprisingly a lot of information about what they're going to be showing this year. A couple weeks back, PlayStation and Sean Layden came out and said that, hey, we're going to tell you what we're doing at E3 so you don't get disappointed. They're going to be showing us SpiderMan. They're going to be showing us The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima from Sucker Punch, and Death Stranding from Kojima Productions. And these are the officially confirmed first-party titles that are going to be displayed at the PlayStation Showcase, so we can expect new looks at these games. But before we talk a little bit about those, it's worth pointing out that there are going to be some third-party games announced at the Sony press conference, and starting this past Wednesday, PlayStation has started a pre-E3 countdown that is going through different announcements on different days leading up to their press conference, and so far we got a few projects that are confirmed. First off, we got the Tetris Effect, a PSVR, PS4 exclusive Tetris title from the creator of Rez, the creator of Luminous. Very stylistic, it fits in with those games, very trippy, lots of colorful imagery, awesome music, and it's going to be a trip to play in VR for sure. So following up on that, we got a brand new date on a PlayStation Worldwide Studios title, that is Days Gone, and we know Days Gone is officially being released on February 22nd of 2019. Days Gone is hopefully going to find the same sort of success Horizon had, if it is on the same caliber of that game. I trust Bend Studios, I'm hopeful for Days Gone, but they got a lot to prove. Putting them in the February time slot where Horizon was can only be good for them. It'll only help Days Gone. Traditionally in the January up to March of every year, there's some lulls for the game releases, so Days Gone is probably going to have a heightened chance of success being released in that time frame. And today, Friday, we got a brand new look at a new project from Don't Nod. We got a new trailer. It's playing underneath my voice right now. It looks cool. I love Life is Strange. I never played Vampire, even though it just came out, and I don't plan on playing Vampire, but it's cool to see them branching out and doing new things. At the time of recording this video, we have a couple more announcements to come. Considering we don't really know anything about what they could announce, they announced Tetris and a game from Don't Nod, so I'm not even gonna bother making a prediction. I know there's something about a VR title coming to PS4, maybe that's Fallout 4, but that's the best guess I have. So let's talk about Sean Layden for a second. A few weeks back, again, he confirmed that there will be no new hardware news in terms of PlayStation. So no PS5, no PSVR, no PlayStation Sony 3D TVs, no Vita 2, no hardware info. This is strictly a software conference, according to Mr. Sean Layden. With all the recent talk in the news of the PlayStation 5 and the lifespan of this generation, it's likely that PS5 is not brought up this year. Despite what some people have thought up until very recently, including myself, it doesn't look like we're going to be getting new consoles in 2019. It sounds like we're still a couple years away, but don't expect PS5 news at this conference. I could see something maybe at PSX later, maybe next year's E3, but that is beside the point. So like I said, we got our 4 main exclusives being shown off on the PlayStation stage. SpiderMan is so soon. I'm betting they have a decent chunk of time, not too much, because we've already had a couple E3s showing off Spider-Man. So maybe Spider-Man gets a new spotlight, maybe we get to see Miles Morales in action, maybe we see new villains like the Green Goblin or Doc Ock, and sort of flesh out the world as we know it. We saw a mission last year, we saw some new trailers. Give us some more story and information about what we're going to be doing as this Peter Parker Spider-Man. Based on the information we got from our last big news dump on Spider-Man, we're probably going to be getting a look at the next exclusive outfit available for players of the Spider-Man game, because we all know that Spider-Man games has some great outfits. Speaking of, I did a video on outfits that should be in Spider-Man on PS4. You can click the card right here to go watch that. But moving on to Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is going to be mind-blowing, at least I hope it is, because Sucker Punch is one of the most underrated devs out there, I feel like. I love the Infamous series, even Second Son. I liked Second Son a lot. Sly Cooper was my favorite probably of the original PS2 mascots among Sly, Ratchet, and Jack. Ghost of Tsushima had a few snippets of gameplay in its reveal trailer, so considering Sucker Punch has been gone since the launch of the PS4 and Infamous Second Son, it's likely that they've got some stuff to show us this E3 when it comes to their new project. The Last of Us Part 2, like I said, Neil Druckmann had come out at PSX on a panel saying that Last of Us Part 2 would have a gameplay feature shown off at E3. This is the first time we'll be seeing Last of Us 2 gameplay. We've also only had a handful of footage from Last of Us Part 2, both cutscenes. We know really nothing about the story of the game, the characters, the cast. We still don't know who Laura Bailey is playing, but expect Last of Us Part 2 to be featured heavily. I could see them open the show with this. I could see them close the show with this. It's really up for debate, but Last of Us Part 2 is going to make a statement at E3 2018. And lastly, on the confirmed list of first-party exclusives from PlayStation and Sean Layden himself, we have Death Stranding. Now, Death Stranding is the new project from Hideo Kojima. It is the spiritual successor to PT Silent Hills. It's including Guillermo del Toro, Norman Reedus, Mads Mikkelsen, and speculation about who the new female lead is going to be, but we're expecting gameplay. Kojima and Andrew House came out and really sung the praises of how the game was moving along. It sounds like the first couple hours are decently along, so we could see something from this. They are using the Decima engine that was used for Horizon Zero Dawn with help from Guerrilla, so they could be making some steady progress. It's not like we're having to wait for an entire engine to be developed just for this game. Over the past few months since Death Stranding got announced back in 2016, we've had some really very interesting comments from Kojima, from the actors he has penned to lead his next masterpiece, about how the game will be played, the story, the setting. Everything about Death Stranding is a mystery right now, so hopefully we leave E3 with more answers than questions. Sean Layden did say that third parties would have a heavy presence at E3 this year, as always for the PlayStation stage, considering they're the best-selling console this generation. Obviously, a lot of third parties are going to want to have their games shown off there. There are 5 projects I think are worth mentioning when it comes to third parties. First off is the Activision paid partnership section. We're obviously going to get this. We get it every year. Destiny Forsaken just had their reveal event this past week, and now we're going to be getting a story trailer at the PlayStation event most likely. COD will most likely be getting a stage demo as well, maybe showing off the Battle Royale mode. And continuing with the trend of marketing deals, there's a chance we see something from Red Dead. I know Rockstar tends to skip E3, but considering they have a deal with PlayStation, maybe we get a reveal for Red Dead Online, since we don't know anything about that yet, and that's going to be huge. The past few years has also shown us that PlayStation and Capcom have a tight relationship. So, what is that going to bring us this year? They have a lot of franchises to pick from, but if we follow all the rumors and speculation over the past few years, it seems like there is no other answer than Devil May Cry 5. The return of Dante has been foretold for a while now, and it looks like this is finally going to be the time and the stage where Dante comes back into the limelight, shows off Devil May Cry 5, PlayStation 4 exclusive, and we get a new look at Capcom's long-running franchise. Is this going to be similar to DMC? Is it going to be more in line with Devil May Cry 4? I have no idea. I've never played a Devil May Cry game, but I'm really interested. Maybe it takes some cues from God of War and does a soft reboot. I'd be way down for that so I could get into Devil May Cry. It seems like something I would like a lot. Expect Devil May Cry on the PlayStation stage. I feel good about it. Next up, sticking with Capcom, we have Resident Evil 2 Remake. Now, Resident Evil 2 Remake was announced years ago, and we've seen basically nothing from the project since its announcement. People still speculate on if it's been cancelled or not. They tell us it's been being worked on. Very recently, we got some new rumors and news about what to expect from the Resident Evil 2 Remake. It sounds like they're taking more of a Resident Evil 4 style approach. No fixed camera angles, third-person action over the shoulder, Leon Kennedy going through Raccoon City in the classic Resident Evil 2 storyline. And this is a side bet, but considering the past 2 years has given us a Capcom demo shadow drop at E3, last year being Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, the year before being the Resident Evil 7 beginning hour demo, I would bet on a Resident Evil 2 Remake Shadow Drop demo the night of the conference. And lastly, on the third-party note, we have the new project from Rocksteady. Do we know what it is? No, we don't. Is it Superman? Probably. Is it Batman Beyond? I would like that. Is it Ninja Turtles? I would also like that. And the last big Rocksteady title that got announced was Batman Arkham VR. That was on the Sony stage. Arkham Knight the year before had a big presence there. I could really see Rocksteady returning to the PlayStation stage and showing off their brand new game about the Man of Steel. It's been rumored forever, it was brought up in the Arkham games, we have references of Superman. It's a matter of what stage it's going to be on because it's probably going to be there. Rocksteady has been teasing stuff on their Twitter the past few months. It just makes sense that we're going to be seeing Rocksteady's new project, whether that's Superman or definitely Superman. I would bet on it. PlayStation is the biggest stage, and we don't really have a lot of information to go on in terms of what surprises will be there. I think it's worth mentioning a few other things based on the history of the conferences the past few years. And starting off, we have Bluepoint Games. Now, last year, Bluepoint Games showed off their project Shadow of the Colossus, period. It was the remake, reimagining, whatever you want to call it. It was a one-to-one remake of Shadow of the Colossus. It looked beautiful. Shadow of the Colossus is one of my favorite games of all time. And Bluepoint, between that, the Nathan Drake collection, everything they've done over the past few years, they've proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with. And I feel like we might see their next project at this show. All we have to go on for Bluepoint is the fact that they said their next project after Shadow of the Colossus is bigger in scale. Now you can take that in several different ways. You can say, is it bigger legacy-wise than Shadow of the Colossus in scale? Shadow of the Colossus is about Colossi, so is it bigger in scale in-game? Is it a bigger world? Is it a bigger name? We don't know. Personally, since we're talking E3 Dreams right here, and it's the 20th anniversary of this game, I would love to see Bluepoint part ways from Sony, go over to Nintendo, and be like, hey, we want to make Ocarina of Time again for the 20th anniversary of that legendary title's release, and put it on the Switch. Now, I know that's for Nintendo, we're gonna get to the Nintendo pre-show, but I think it's worth considering since Bluepoint has been so heavily involved with PlayStation, we could see something new from them. So while we're talking about the Conference of Dreams, we have to bring up Final Fantasy VII Remake. I touched on the Final Fantasy VII Remake in the Square Enix preview for E3, you can catch that in this card up in the corner, but Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'll talk briefly since I went in depth in that video. The Final Fantasy VII Remake has been having some development issues. It changed over teams recently. They're wanting to shake up the expectations of this remake and really blow people away with it. So considering the fact that very recently we learned that the team is still growing and still trying to figure out what to do, I don't know if we see it at the show. If we do see it at the show, I'm expecting something drastically different, probably a re-reveal of this title. If they're still doing episodic, I could see them putting a 2019 date on episode 1, just so people actually take the project seriously. I know Square Enix shouldn't do that, but it seems like a move they would do. Final Fantasy VII Remake is always going to be looming over every single press conference, no matter what it is, so it's worth bringing up. We talked about Shadow of the Colossus earlier, but the 2015 Conference of Dreams also gave us the re-reveal and official dating. It got delayed, but it was a date for The Last Guardian from Fumito Ueda. A few months back, we saw a new image teased from Fumito Ueda over on Twitter, and a website centralized around this one piece of art called Beauty and the Beast. It was a little girl and these giant skin-covered, rashy, beastly hands. It seems very Ueda, it seems very in line tonally with Shadow of the Colossus and with The Last Guardian. I wouldn't be surprised if Ueda wants to show off his brand new project, whatever this turns out to be. Let's just call it Beauty and the Beast for now. If something exists, they can show off for that. I hope PlayStation realizes they should only show it if it actually is going to be released within the next 4 years max. But that's really everything we can talk about for the pre-show for the PlayStation press conference this year. It's really interesting to me because usually the PlayStation press conference leading up to it, there's always this mystery about their IP they could bring back, but they've really pretty much done everything at this point except for games like Sly 5, maybe something, I don't know, Jack coming back. Spyro and Crash already had their comeback. I was never big on SOCOM or Siphon Filter, but I know a lot of people are. Maybe that comes back. If we're dreaming for PlayStation franchise comebacks, I'm putting Sly Cooper 5, Jack and Daxter, or Resistance high up there. I would love to see a new installment in any of those series. Now I want to talk to you guys. Comment down below, let me know what you think of PlayStation's approach to E3 this year, getting everything out there, tempering expectations. What do you think of that? Is it good? Is it helpful? Or is it hurting them in the pre-show hype? If you were able to see a PlayStation IP brought back at E3 this year, what would you want it to be and why? Let me know. And as we approach E3 2018, be sure to subscribe to JoyClicks and hit the bell so you never miss any of the coverage over here on the channel. I'm going to be diving deep on E3 over the next few days, so thank you all for watching, and as always, good vibes and good game.